From another state, Uttar Pradesh, where yet another proclaimed godman in the dock, Baba Sachidanand, who heads the Sant Kutir Ashram of Basti in Uttar Pradesh, has been accused of illegal detention and rape by 4 sadhvis. Now, the police have registered a case of rape and physical assault against the Baba and 3 other people in the Kotwali police station of Basti. The Baba, however, continues to remain absconding.
गलत किया गया है।
हाँ।
महात्मा के शरण में
तो वो वहाँ पे है,
जांच भी करवा सकते हैं। वो ब्रज घाट पड़ता वहाँ पे रहती है, उस समय फिलहाल वहीं पर है। आप जांच कराएंगे सब पता चल जाएगा आपको।
Moving on in the bulletin now to some news there coming in from Sangli in Maharashtra, where an old woman who was on a hunger strike in the village protesting against the kidnapping of her grandson died after a month of fasting. Now, enraged by the apathy of the authorities, the villagers refused to perform her last rites and kept her body at the local police station. The atmosphere in the village is said to be tense post the incident. Well, that's the latest that we are getting to you as far as the news there coming in from Sangli in Maharashtra is concerned, where a woman who was on a hunger strike following the kidnapping of her grandson died after a month of fasting, and enraged by the apathy of the police personnel in not being able to nab the accused in this case. The local villagers refused to perform the last rites of this old woman and kept her body at the police station, indicating the kind of inaction there that was met out to the family members. Kajal Iyer now joins me on the phone line with more details on this. Kajal, what is the situation there on ground in Sangli, considering the fact that the locals, enraged by the inaction of the police, have kept the body of this old woman outside the police station?
Yes, so far they have refused to perform the last rites of the old lady who died after a month-long hunger strike protesting the kidnapping of her grandson. And there is considerable tension in the village because the villagers are very, very upset and angry with the police inaction, and also inaction of the district level authorities, who they say did not do anything to find the real culprits or punish the culprits in this case.
Kajal, also any word there coming in from the state administration, the district administration at this given point in time? Have their representatives been able to talk to the villagers, the family members, in order to ease the situation, in order to make sure that the situation does not go out of hand?
On is what we are being told right now, to assess the situation and also try and reach out to the villagers and convince them to conduct the last rites of the lady. But yes, right now there is still a standoff between the villagers and the authorities.
But what are the main demands that has been put forth by the villagers in front of the authorities?
When the villagers want proper action to be taken against the culprits and to book them and punish them properly, and they say that the police was very negligent in investigating the entire case. So they want the case to be completely investigated, and of course also the police should be answerable to this woman's death, which was caused by the grief of the missing grandson.
All right, Kajal, many thanks for getting us those information there coming in out of Sangli, where the situation continues to remain tense after an old woman who was on a hunger strike following the kidnapping of her grandson died after a month of fasting. And the visuals that you can see on your screens there of the villagers protesting outside the local police station in a show of strength and in highlighting the kind of inaction there that has been posed by the police and demanding stern action there of the perpetrators. Well, and what could come as a relief to the parents, the Maharashtra government is planning to bring a bill to regulate private coaching classes. Now, the state has proposed to set the tuition fees and also give 50% concession to 5% students in a batch. However, the Coaching Class Owners Association is unhappy with their decision, and they feel that the state is trying to interfere in their business.
In order to regulate the business of private coaching classes in Maharashtra, the state government has drafted the Private Coaching Classes Regulation Bill 2018, which might get tabled in the ongoing winter session in Nagpur. Now this bill has certain guidelines which has to be followed by the private coaching centers, otherwise they might serve a jail term for 2 years. Now this bill has the perfect guidelines to say that there will be a committee which will be set up to draft how much fees these private coaching centers will charge from the parents. And also 5% of their revenue or the income which they'll be earning will go to the government.
Regulations are always good for the industry. Having said that, what we are trying to tell the government is that we want to be regulated, but we don't want to be controlled. Here we are already paying 18% GST, we are paying income tax, we are paying profession tax with no support of the government. So why this additional 5% burden? We will not be able to survive if we have to pay 5% of our collection, because that is typically our profit margin.
I don't think it is correct to have a legislation for a wrong thing. You want to justify a wrong doing by making a legislation. And if you go to see all the big whatever classes are there, they are belonging to a big politicians, maybe some other powerful people, and who wants to create money out of it. So I think there should be no legislation. In fact, all the coaching classes should be banned.
Shifting gears now, if your daily life involves commuting through Bengaluru's traffic, then it is all set to get worse. Now, the Bengaluru civic body has begun white-topping 28 major roads in the city. Let's first tell you what this means. Now, white-topping is a process where asphalted roads are given a concrete topping in the hope of giving them a longer life and to prevent potholes. But here's the rider. The entire process is going to take a good 11 months and it will be finished only in August next year. Mirror now decided to do a reality check at one of city's busiest streets, the Outer Ring Road, and here's what we found.
It's been clearly a little over half an hour and I have just covered 1 kilometer distance here on the Outer Ring Road. In fact, this is one of the major arterial roads. What is happening over here is something called white topping. Of course, we do know that over the last couple of months, the BBMP, the civic body here in Bengaluru, has received a flag for not covering the potholes and for the number of pothole deaths. Now, this is the solution what they are looking at, where they are going to white top the entire nearly 28 major arterial roads. Now, the road that I am standing, right here and reporting is one of the major arterial roads which connects the IT hub, and we can even see here how there is traffic. The vehicular movement is almost stopped and it's so difficult for one commuter to even cover a kilometer of distance, because nearly it takes you half an hour to 45 minutes. Now, that is the plight of the citizens over here. Now, clearly imagine this is the situation here, because the timing is clearly questionable. It's just another couple of months to go for the elections, and we understand that the Karnataka government, the civic body, has come up with this kind of a solution, and the shocker over here is the citizens will have to put up with this kind of an ordeal for at least another 10 months.
Moving on in the bulletin now, the food at your table could be unsafe. Now, the food that you're feeding your children could also be unsafe. A report by the Controller and Auditor General of India has made certain observations related to the packaged food. Now, the issue has now been raised serious questions on whether the food safety has become a joke across India. Is the government doing anything about this at all? Milan now joins me on the phone line with more details on this very grave concerns there being raised by the CAG as far as food safety is concerned. Milan, first of all, take us through the damning details there of the CAG report, which clearly highlights how the food safety standards in India has become a joke.
The Controller Auditor General has completely slammed the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. First of all, what the report says is that the testing labs themselves are not NABL accredited, because there is no certification that the labs have. And apart from the 250 odd labs that exist throughout the country under the FSSAI, many of them, at least 65 of them, have been found to have no accreditation. Besides that, there are private labs as well. So clearly, I don't know, or consumers do not know what kind of food they are eating if the food sampling that is happening in the labs are not accredited. In fact, many of the food manufacturers, the CAG report found, were given licenses with just half of the documentation done. The documentation was also incomplete, and the food manufacturers have been given licenses. This clearly states that how the FSSAI is failing to provide better food conditions and failing to ensure that the food the citizens are consuming is safe for consumption there.
But Milan, as the CAG has come out with its report clearly pointing on how unsafe the packaging has been, and also highlighting how there are many food laboratories, the state food laboratories, which still does not have accreditation, what is the next step from here? What is it that the agencies now in concern will be looking at?
Definitely, the FSSAI has said that this CAG report pertains to the performance of the authority, and the performance has been criticized by the CAG, and the FSSAI has asked for a period of 4 to 6 months to set up more labs to correct all the facilities that have not been up to the mark. And they have also said that lack of manpower is one of the most crucial problems that the FSSAI is also facing, also hinting on compliance of many states because health is a state subject. Certain states are more compliant with food standards while certain are not, and this is something that the FSSAI and Health and Family Welfare Ministry all have to work on a collaborated effort for. But currently, as a consumer, it is clearly scary that the food that I consume or the food that is being sent out in the market is not certified or is not properly tested in accredited labs, and this is what we are eating there.
Okay. Absolutely. Many thanks, Milan, for getting us all those details on that shocking expose that was done by the CAG on how unhealthy the food packaging norms have been and how the norms and standards of the FSSAI has been compromised. Of course, let's also quickly listen in to what the CEO of FSSAI has to say about this entire detail that has come out of the CAG.
Several issues raised by CAG are procedural in nature. And we have benefited from the report of the CAG and taken corrective actions on them. And having said this, a lot of work is still required to be done to ensure safe and nutritious food for our citizens. There is a big area of concern as far as states are concerned, because several states are not giving adequate importance to food safety issues as they should be. Some states are doing very well, and much of work relating to compliance happens at the state level, and that is an area where we need to be working hard and working more effectively with the state governments. One single challenge is, inadequacy of manpower and capacity at the state level, because we can only be as effective as our field machinery, and our field machinery is the states. So whereas in some states, things are happening very well, in some states a lot needs to be done. So that is the most important challenge that we face.
In some other news now, Padmavati, Sunny Leone and now Tiger Zinda Hai has become the biggest target of vote bank politics. A day after Raj Thakre's eminence, now it is the Shiv Sena too targeting the mega release of Salman Khan Katrina starrer. Both the parties that claim to fight for the Marathi Manush are saying that the Marathi film Deva Ekatrangi isn't getting any primetime slots because of the Bollywood flick. Now they have asked the exhibitors, cinema owners to ensure enough screen slots are given to the regional film. But should there be a quota system in the business of entertainment?
Yes, of course, we support the cause. But what is the cultural minister of Maharashtra doing? Is it not his responsibility? He has taken an undertaking for the Theatre Owners Association that they will give the prime time to Marathi movies. What happened to that? What happened to that agreement? MNS is searching for issues to keep their party alive. to keep their cadre together. So this can be one of the reasons.
इसमें मैं एक बात क्लियर करना चाहूंगा कि हमारा कोई विरोध टाइगर जिंदा है इस फिल्म को लेके बिल्कुल नहीं है. मैं भी सलमान खान की फिल्में देखता हूं. टाइगर जिंदा है देखने मैं भी जाऊंगा थिएटर. पर जैन करके जो थिएटर है मुंबई में, वहां पे 12 से 3, 3 से 6, 6 से 9, 9 से 12 अगर सारे शोज एक ही फिल्म को जाते हैं और मराठी फिल्मों को महाराष्ट्र में अगर स्क्रीन्स नहीं मिलता तो क्या इसका विरोध नहीं होना चाहिए? मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि ऐसे बिल्कुल नहीं है. इसके पहले भी आप देखिए, जब भी रोहित शेट्टी जी की चेन्नई एक्सप्रेस ये फिल्म रिलीज हुई थी, वो भी फिल्म सुपरहिट हुई थी. रोहित शेट्टी और दुनियादारी की टीम साथ में बैठ के, राज साहब के घर पे साथ में बैठ के एक बीच का रास्ता निकाला गया था और दुनियादारी को भी स्क्रीन्स मिले थे, रोहित शेट्टी की फिल्म को भी स्क्रीन्स मिले थे.
Meanwhile, the Marathi film Fraternity has also united against the Bollywood release, stating that a Maharashtra rule and agreement with multiplexes which makes it compulsory to screen Marathi films in cinemas.
Obviously, it is not justified, and I believe why it is happening over the period of time again and again. So it's a very sickening thing. Every time we have to shout about something, and then only we get something. This is not acceptable. I have been working as an actor and as a director. I didn't face it because maybe the date was good. But when my film was released as a director, both the films, every time 5 other films were released. And we had theatres for all 5 of them. And some Hindi film also was released. But this has been happening and this is not a good thing. I do not know whether it is a law or just a GR, but it is binding on theatre owners that they should give proper shows to Marathi films in Maharashtra. Right. So they should obey.
महाराष्ट्र में चांस नहीं मिल रहा. मैं ये नहीं चाहता कि हिंदी मराठी कोई ऐसा विवाद हो. मैं चाहता हूँ वो भी फिल्म चले, ये भी फिल्म चले. सिर्फ वायरफ ने जो ये अभी किया हुआ है कि बाबा सभी शो हमको मिलने चाहिए, तो उनको इतना ही पता होना चाहिए कि हमको भी कुछ शो मिलने चाहिए बस. हमारी भी फिल्में चली ये मराठी में, लोग थिएटर में जाते हैं और मुझे मराठी पे अभिमान है कि वहाँ पे लोग फिल्म देखते थिएटर में, विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. हमारे लिए वही है कि फिल्म आके देखे. अगर हमको वक्त, जगह और वक्त ही नहीं दिया तो हमारी फिल्में देखेंगे कैसे लोग?
अभी ऐसे हो रहा है कि टाइगर जिंदा है 22 तारीख को आ रही है. देवा फिल्म, हमारी जो फिल्म है वो भी 22 तारीख को आ रही है. और पूरे जो फिल्म के स्लॉट्स है, दिन भर में 10 स्लॉट्स है, 10 के 10 स्लॉट्स टाइगर जिंदा है ने ले लिए. तो अभी मराठी फिल्म्स जो हमारी स्पेसिफिकली देवा फिल्म है वो कैसे चलेगी? मतलब जब तक हम लोग सिर्फ, हमारी दरख्वास्त यही है कि हम लोगों को दिन भर में सिर्फ 2 शो मिले, प्राइम टाइम के 2 शो. बाकी हमारी ना फिल्म के साथ प्रॉब्लम है, ना उनके लैंग्वेज के साथ प्रॉब्लम है, ना सलमान जी के साथ प्रॉब्लम है, ना वायरफ के साथ प्रॉब्लम है.
Well, former CBFC chief Pahlaj Nihalani has also backed the Marathi actors, saying that local movies by rule are supposed to be given a fair chance by multiplexes and cinema halls.
डेफिनेट मिलना चाहिए महाराष्ट्र रूल के हिसाब से, जो मल्टीप्लेक्स को जो है के साथ जो तय हुआ था और एग्रीमेंट हुआ था कि इनको कंपलसरी जो है मराठी फिल्म को एक तो हर सिनेमा में कंपलसरी फिल्म को लगाना ही लगाना है. सिंगल सिनेमा में जहाँ पे मराठी फिल्म नहीं चलती है वहाँ भी उनको चलाना, तो हर सिनेमा की जिम्मेदारी ठहराई गई है सरकार की तरफ से कि 12 दिन जो है फिल्म को लगाना है. और मल्टीप्लेक्स के साथ में स्पेशली जो उनको बेनिफिट दिया गया था उस तय के अंदर मराठी फिल्म को प्राइम शोज भी मिलने चाहिए.
The call given by the MNS yesterday to see to it that the theatres should be given to Deva, a Marathi film, is absolutely right. But the way the call has been given is absolutely condemnable.
Well, over to some news there coming in from down south, where 2 students of a reputed school in Kerala's Antapuram were expelled on grounds of expressing public display of affection. While the students say it was a congratulatory hug to his friend that lasted for a few seconds, the school authorities remain adamant, saying that such actions are against the school's disciplinary rules. With the class 12th exams round the corner, the boys' future hangs in balance.
girl child asked me how she performed, did she perform good, will she win a prize, and like we were all in an impulsive mood, right? Like it's a arts festival. So in that impulsive mood, I just gave her a hug which lasted for like 3 or 5 seconds and told her that it was good. She like performed really good. She might even win a prize, and she was happy about it. But when this happened, this was just a friendly hug. Like it was a friendly hug with a mutual consent. She didn't have any objections or she didn't have any complaint against it. This was a friendly hug. And while I was hugging her, a teacher, that is administrative staff, walked past by and saw this incident, and she didn't demand any explanations, but she started shouting at us. And she took us to the vice principal's room. In the vice principal's room, when the vice principal came, she asked me for an explanation, and I gave an explanation. Ma'am, this was just a mutual hug. This was a friendly hug. She asked me how she performed, and I hugged her, and that was it. But she was pretty convinced by then. The vice principal was pretty convinced, and she's like, even though you hugged, I understand, but this is not the place for doing that. I understand that it was an impulsive action, but it is against the school rules.
On that day, it so happened that a child of a +2 student, boy, he hugged a girl of +1. He says that it is a congratulatory hug. The hug was prolonged. A congratulatory hug may remain for maybe 1 minute, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But it was prolonged. It was witnessed by our teachers. And in fact, after seeing the teacher also, he was not moving out. In fact, literally the teacher has to raise her voice and tell him to move away from the girl. Then it was, the matter was brought to the notice of the authority, and in the inquiry it was found that he was guilty.
With that, let's take a quick look at what else is making headlines from across the country. US President Donald Trump has thrown his support behind US Ambassador Nikki Haley, who threatened the United Nations member states with possible retaliation if they back a resolution criticizing Washington's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. South Korea is reportedly urging the United States to delay military exercises ahead of Winter Olympics in Pyongyang. However, South Korean President Moon Jae-in said that it all depended upon how North Korea behaves. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas held talks in Riyadh with Saudi Arabia's King Salman. His visit comes 1 week after heads of state from Muslim countries met in Turkey to reject and denounce President Donald Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. US President Donald Trump thanked lawmakers for working to pass the Republican tax bill. Expressing his gratitude, Trump said that the people were working on the tax reform for years. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has said that Americans have a lot of regret on the Republican-led tax bill passed by the Congress. Now, Schumer made the comments as Republican lawmakers were celebrating the passage of the bill at the White House with President Trump. Dozens of victims have claimed to have been abused as children by the Catholic clergy hit out at the late Cardinal Bernard Law, calling him the example of Vatican's immorality for shielding the accused clergy. Now, the victims accused the law as an enabler of clergy sexual abuse who continued to move accused priests to another assignment and failing to protect the victims. 8 Americans, 2 Swedes and Canadian were among those killed when the bus taking them from their cruise ship to visit the Mayan ruins crashed in southeastern Mexico. A Mexican bus driver was also killed in this mishap. The bus reportedly slipped on a narrow highway in the Quintana Roo state, which was carrying tourists to the Mayan ruins. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of India This Morning. Keep watching Mirror Now for more news and updates.